Hi everyone, Gina here with Balanced Body Solutions, and we're going to talk hips again today. So I've had a couple of clients here lately with some hip issues, and the complaints can be different. Sometimes it can be that they feel like they just have a real deep ache, like kind of in the hip. Sometimes they might complain more about pain kind of on the outside, like a bursitis type of a pain. But what I'm about to show you can really work well with just about any type of hip thing, because not only are we going to work on the hip joint itself, so whether there's something going on inside the hip or more on the outside like bursitis, or whether we're even talking about more of the pelvis, this is all going to help to stabilize, because really what it boils down to with just about any issue that we find pain-wise, it can be fixed with the proper strengthening, the proper stability and flexibility, so that everything can work correctly. So I'll run through a few just really simple things that I have found could almost immediately cause improvements in pain, and can obviously be used in conjunction with just a good general exercise program. So the first one is going to be on your side. The bottom leg can be bent for some stability. You do want to lie all the way down. A lot of people have a tendency to try to prop up like this. I want you all the way down so that you can be nice and stable. Hold that core tight. The leg is going to start basically just right down the midline. Again, a couple of cheats that people do is they'll try to bring the leg up and their toes will rotate up, and they can go way up high and they're like, hey, great, I'm great here. Problem is, we've completely taken out the muscle that we want to use, and we've kicked in some hip flexors. So what we want to do is keep this really straight down the middle so that we're focusing on the gluteus medius, and we can even turn where the heel's going up a little bit, and that's going to focus on that even more so. So right here, just lifting up as far as you can. This is one you want to go pretty slow with, because I can sit there and just rush through it, and that's fine, but I really want to focus on what we can really squeeze, get at the top. We really want to try to get the most range of motion that we can. So you're going to do somewhere around 10. You're going to get a pretty good burn, so I would say I would start with about 10. Then you're going to take it forward about 45 degrees, and you're doing the same thing here. You want to go up nice and slow, keeping the toes from turning up here. So you want to keep it nice and level. So you're going to do about 10 here as well. Nice and controlled. Now this last one is probably the one that people have the most difficulty with, because if you're lacking a little bit of the ability to go back into extension, this is going to be tough. So this is where my midline was on the very first one. I'm trying to take it back behind as far as I can. Now I have this nice table that I can hold on to, and it helps me brace a little bit. If you don't have that, obviously you're going to have to really just brace your core as best you can. You can adjust your leg a little if you need to for some extra support, but you're going to take it up in the back as far as you can. This one will give you a heck of a muscle cramp if you're not careful. So about 10 of those. So on your first try, I would say adjust to around 10, and you can work up to doing 2 sets of 10. So that's going to work, obviously, that gluteus medius. Then we're going to take it into the hip adductors, which these guys tend to be pretty darn weak too. So you could also prop your leg up if you have like a chair or stool, and really take the whole leg out of the equation. You don't even have to worry about it, and that's probably the ideal situation. But for purposes of showing you, that way nothing's in the way, I'm going to kind of just take my leg like out of the way as best I can here. So same thing here, straight down the middle and lifting up. Not turning the toes, any which way, nice and straight. We're doing 10 of these. And then we're gonna follow that same order. If you get out of order, it's not the end of the world, but it's just easier to remember. You wanna bring it forward about 45 degrees. And you're gonna lift up here as well. And again, if I have my foot on a stool or a chair, this leg will be completely out of the way. 45-degree lift, about 10 there. And then same thing on the going back behind as far as you can. And you're going to lift 10 times. Again, with these, you get a pretty good burn out of it. So I would start out with just 10, work your way into doing like 2 sets of 10 with that. And the last one, which is probably one of the most crucial, is hip rotation. We're always so weak here. You can use pillows between the knee on this one, which will help you be in a little better alignment. But again, for purposes of visual, I'm not even going to put the pillow there. So we're just going to have the knees bent. I don't want you necessarily extremely straight. You can be in a little bit of a flex position, but I also don't want you way flexed. So just kind of a comfortable flex position there. And you're going to take that top leg and we're going to rotate it up as far as we can. Of course, I'm going to be a little tight on this one as well, because what I don't want to have happen is rolling this direction. So this is staying nice and tight, just rotating up. You'll find sometimes on this one, you'll also get a little bit of a cramp. If you get that sticking point at the end, try to push past it as best you can. About 10 repetitions on this one. And then taking the leg out of the way, this would also be another good opportunity to have a pillow here to rest it so that you're more comfortable. But again, for visual, I'm just going to take the leg completely out of the way so that you can see what's going on here. On this one, we're basically doing the same thing, although it's going to be opposite rotation because we're using the other leg coming up. The cheat that I tend to see the most on this one is people will start to pull their leg forward to try to get up higher, because I can go up way higher there than I can with it back this way. So try to keep it back a little bit and rotate up. And if you have a helper, this can really be beneficial, because my stopping point actively is right here. But if I can take my foot up a little bit higher, I can try to gain that last little bit of range of motion. So if you happen to have somebody that can help you out with that, that can really be helpful. So again, about 10 repetitions on these, working into 2 sets of 10. And then of course, you're going to be doing this flipped on the other side too. You don't want to leave one side imbalanced. So this can be really great for a lot of hip issues. Beyond that, it can actually, even though they're what I would call correctives, they get a good burn. I've got a good burn with this. You're going to actually see a lot of nice toning with this too. So truth is, it can be used by just about anybody. Hope it helps.